Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Mark.
And this is Complicated Things. So today we are talking about test shoots.
We're going to tell you why we think test shoots are important, whether you're just starting off or you're a big name pro photographer. We're going to take you behind the scenes and show you a test shoot that we're actually doing with a model and a really interesting stylist who's also a fashion historian. She's going to bring a handful of incredible vintage looks, and we're going to try shooting them in different areas around our studio space. The goal is to make some beautiful imagery and show you guys how we do it. There are basically two ways you can build your portfolio of work. The first way, the easiest way, is to pay everyone. Pay a stylist, pay a model, pay a studio, pay a prop stylist. You have an idea, you tell these people exactly what to do, and they do it because you're paying them. This is not really something that works for most of us because it's incredibly expensive. So the other way to do it is this fabulous thing called collaboration, where you find people with similar interests to you, you convince them that you can make something beautiful together, and you do a collaboration. When you collaborate, it's much more beneficial. However good you think you are or however good you are, I guarantee that one of your collaborators is going to have an idea that is better than your idea or make you think in a different way, and that's going to elevate this test beyond your own little box. So collaboration works brilliantly when you're trying to do a test.
So a test shoot is any time when you arrange a shoot to try out working with a new team or maybe working on a new style of shooting. You know, you can do test shoots with a model and a stylist. You can do a test shoot with a restaurateur. You can do a test shoot with an architectural firm. The whole point is that everybody who is working on the shoot is getting some sort of asset that'll help themselves. Hopefully you're getting something that'll help you build your portfolio at the very least. But you know, in the best situations, you'll actually meet new people who will become your clientele, and you know, you'll really develop your style along the way.
One way that I really love to test right now is I put out a shout on Instagram. I say, hey, come by, I'm going to take your picture, and then, you know, in return, I will give people a print or a digital file. And I have a little bit of time with each person, and that really, really helps me get in there and practice what I love to do, which is making portraits.
Yeah, so something about Mark's testing style that really won't translate to anybody who's watching this video because they're trying to glean information on testing is Mark has a pretty big repertoire and a pretty good reputation. So when you put out like an open call for portraits, we get 200 people showing up in August in the rain, and we need people to manage the line and tell people to stop getting in line. We don't get that, and we probably won't ever get that. And so we have to be more realistic. Testing for someone like me involves finding a group of people who I want to work with, reaching out to them, and then, you know, being soft with time and scheduling, because you have to be super flexible. Everyone has their own life and their own career. Mark gets to say, hey, if you're in New York City, it's Tuesday at 3 p.m., get in the line. That's not going to work for us. And, you know, I'm realistic about it, and you need to be too.
But in honesty, don't get me wrong, I've done that thing where I've gone into Union Square with my camera, not said to anyone, and just stopped people on the street. And I do that too. Sometimes I just go out and practice it if I can convince this person to let me take their picture.
In all honesty, when was the last time you took your Graflex to Union Square?
It's about 7 years.
Yeah. So, guys.
But you know what? We should do an episode on that, and let's do it.
Oh, that'd be really fun.
Let's do it. We're going to do that.
Oh, that will actually be really fun. Mark talking to strangers, 101.
Without being arrested.
The same joke 380 times, 101.
Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, that's the go-to.
Collaborators, how do you find them? Where are they? Who are they? Well, listen, a collaborator is anyone that can maybe supply something to you that's going to allow you to take a picture and elevate yourself and elevate your portfolio. Now, thinking a little outside the box, let's say that you're doing, some wedding photography, and you just feel that the weddings you've been doing don't have quite beautiful enough flowers. Reach out to a florist. Say, hey, next time you do something beautiful, can I photograph it for you? They're going to be delighted with the photographs, and you're going to get something to elevate you.
I mean, in the best situations, you'll find one or two people who you love working with, and you guys will drag each other up. And then when you start landing the big client jobs, you know your team like the back of your hand, and it's, a great advantage. This week, my friend Hannah is going to style our model Elizabeth in some really cool vintage pieces. Now, this shoot works great for all parties involved because Hannah needs to feature these pieces in her vintage shop. And this is also a great opportunity for her to showcase her ability to art direct and style at the same time, which is something that's new for her. Elizabeth is a model who is represented by a major New York agency, but it's 2020, people haven't been working, and so models need to update their lookbooks so that people know what they look like in a somewhat recent history. And then for us, this is also great.
For you.
Well, for me, but really for you guys, because this is something that's kind of outside my normal niche, and it's unlikely that it's gonna make it to my portfolio. But this is an opportunity for us to bring you guys along with us, and you can see what it really looks like in real time.
What do I get out of it?
You get to come into the studio from the Hamptons on a holiday weekend. Man, I'm really sorry, but you just have to be here. We're a team. We're hanging out in the stairwell because there's a fire alarm going off in the rest of our building. And you gotta make do with what you got. So we have a cool cinematic location. At least we lit it to look kind of cool and cinematic. You can't see it because it's behind you. And just testing our light before we bring our model over here.
Is that we're having a really silly jokey time, but if you notice, our model is a consummate professional and hasn't even broke a smile yet.
So my creative vision right now is to follow Hannah's creative vision. She sent me a deck that already had some images that referenced the kind of vibe she was going for. And then we talked about the clothes I was going for, and she pulled just right on the money. And so I'm basically following Hannah's vision right now, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
And then I like to really elongate people. It's the way I like to shoot everybody. So I'm just doing a little bit of that. Okay, so we just wrapped our first look. Our talent Elizabeth is back in wardrobe and styling, getting into her next look. The crew's helping me break down of our lights and moving them down to our basement. And we're gonna pick up there in just a second. So come on, we'll see you down there. So our talent Elizabeth is about to come down. I've chosen this spot for our next location. It works for us for a few reasons. One, and this is important, we're not too close to any of our strobing fire alarms. So I don't have to worry about that. But the real thing about this spot is, even though it's super tight, it would be uncomfortable to use in a real life situation, it's gonna allow our model to really fill up the space and interact with it in a way that makes it all come alive. So hopefully this compact space mixed with like her body movement will make these garments feel like they're active, and when you look at it, it won't feel like a boring still life. Well, this is actually, sounds kind of silly, right? But if you cannot pose yourself somewhat the way you want your models to pose, you'll never be able to communicate it and make the shot. And with that in mind, the ways I see our model using this is by stacking her legs up in different combinations like this, reaching out, reaching back. If her skirt will allow it, maybe even putting her feet up. Anytime that you can get some of that dark contrast in like an open skirt or an open dress, it sexes up the image a good bit, but still keeps it really vanilla, which is great, I think. So we're doing our third look right where I'm sitting. We're putting our talent Elizabeth in a long flowy dress with this big flowy cape, almost jacket, kind of a little bit of both. And we're gonna have her standing up right where I am and just moving in situation and letting the wind move her hair and move the jacket. Same thing that we were doing in the first two locations, we're trying to do here. And even though it is a pose fashion photo, we want it to look like it has movement or feel like there's movement. And that way it'll tie all of our looks for today together. So I'm not somebody who shoots in natural light very often. So I'm immediately concerned when we're coming up on the roof in full direct sunlight, but you just got to deal with what you have. We have our lovely assistant Grace here who's currently cutting the light down for me. But she's gonna stand here and she's gonna bounce light back onto our model. And if we can get something pretty close to even, then we're in good shape and we can do whatever else we need to do in post.
Hi, I'm Mark Mann.
This is Mark Mann. He's here now. As far as test shoots go, I think that went really well. I got images that I can use. Hannah got images she can use. Mark Mann still doesn't like fashion. And Elizabeth got some great new images to add to her book.
And I'm super impressed with watching Alex work as always, because he knows his fashion. I'm Mark, this is Alex. We're Complicated Things, and we'll see you next time.